Welcome, classic film fans. Today we're peeling back the glittering facade of old Hollywood to reveal the dark truths behind its brightest stars. The Dream Factory didn't just create icons, it created monsters too. When the cameras stopped rolling, egos and insecurities ran wild, leaving a trail of bruised spirits. We're diving into the infamous antics and venomous feuds of 10 legendary stars known for being the biggest jerks off-screen. Forget rumors. We're exposing the real stories the studios tried to hide. So pour a drink, settle in, and prepare to meet the legends whose shadows were as long as their legacies. This is the story of how Hollywood's brightest lights often cast the darkest shadows. Joan Crawford, a name synonymous with Hollywood's golden age, queen of MGM, a true icon of the silver screen, master of control both on and off the set. Her perfectionism was legendary, a driving force behind her success, but it often crossed into cruelty, leaving a trail of broken spirits in its wake. She demanded absolute devotion, an unwavering loyalty from those around her, inspecting sets and colleagues with an eagle eye, with a ruthless eye, always searching for flaws, and wielded power through calculated kindness, a disarming facade that masked her true intentions, and public humiliation, a favored tactic to maintain her position. Crawford's need for control, an insatiable hunger that defined her existence, made every interaction a battle for dominance, a constant struggle to assert her will. She even brought her own lighting crew, a testament to her meticulous nature, to ensure she always shone brightest, the undisputed center of attention. Her feud with Bette Davis, a clash of titans, was the stuff of legend, a bitter rivalry that fueled some of their most iconic performances. On Baby Jane, she filled her pockets with rocks, a petty act of sabotage, to sabotage Davis during a scene, showcasing the depths of their animosity. Crawford's reign was built on fear, an atmosphere of intimidation, not respect, a hollow foundation for a glittering career. Beneath the glamour, the dazzling facade, was profound loneliness and insecurity, a vulnerability she desperately tried to conceal, masked by a relentless need to dominate, to control every aspect of her life. She was a star who consumed everyone around her, draining their energy and spirit, leaving only ash and echoes, a desolate landscape in her wake. The legend of Joan Crawford, a carefully constructed persona, is as chilling as it is iconic, a haunting reminder of the price of fame. Bette Davis was a hurricane, a force of nature unleashed on the silver screen. She possessed a raw, untamed energy that captivated audiences and challenged the conventions of Hollywood. Brilliant, blunt, and impossible to ignore, her talent was undeniable, her opinions were unfiltered, and her presence commanded attention. She was a true original, a star who refused to be molded. She fought the studio system, took Warner Brothers to court, daring to challenge their control over her career and artistic freedom, and refused to be tamed. She wouldn't compromise her vision or her principles, even if it meant facing the wrath of powerful executives. On set, she clashed with directors and co-stars, her honesty cutting like a knife. She had no patience for mediocrity and wasn't afraid to speak her mind, even if it ruffled feathers. Davis saw herself as the most talented in any room, and had little patience for those who couldn't keep up. She demanded excellence from herself and those around her, pushing boundaries and challenging expectations. Her feuds were legendary. She openly despised Errol Flynn and sparred with Miriam Hopkins. Davis's devotion to her craft was fierce, but her blunt critiques left lasting wounds. She craved respect, not affection, and her passion often scorched those around her. Unlike Crawford's cold cruelty, Davis's fire was explosive and raw. She was difficult, abrasive, and utterly brilliant. Bette Davis didn't just play strong women. She was one, for better or worse, a true iconoclast who left an indelible mark on Hollywood. Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes, a name synonymous with mid-century cool. He was an icon, a legend, a voice that defined an era. But beyond the impeccable suits and the captivating stage presence lay a complex and often contradictory character. He was the ultimate showman, captivating audiences with his smooth baritone. But beneath the surface lurked a dark side, a volatile temperament that could erupt at any moment. His charm could light up a room, disarming even the most skeptical, making him the life of any party. But his temper could clear it just as fast, leaving a trail of stunned silence and simmering resentment in its wake. Sinatra's power came from his unparalleled talent, his ability to convey raw emotion through song, captivating millions around the world. But it also stemmed from his notorious connections, a web of relationships that blurred the lines between celebrity and the underworld. Intimidation was his weapon of choice, a tool he wielded with precision and unwavering resolve. A single slight, a perceived disrespect could trigger a tirade, unleashing a torrent of anger and verbal abuse, and his entourage, a loyal and often intimidating group, enforced his will with chilling efficiency, ensuring that his commands were obeyed without question. On set, he was impatient and dismissive, a whirlwind of creative energy and demanding expectations. He was demanding perfection on his terms, pushing everyone around him to meet his exacting standards. And he was often belittling anyone who fell short, publicly criticizing those who failed to live up to his vision. His feud with Marlon Brando on Guys and Dolls became legendary, a clash of titans, a battle of egos. Sinatra's one-take impatience, his desire to capture the moment and move on. This was clashing with Brando's methodical style, his dedication to exploring every nuance of a character. Sinatra's insecurity fueled his ambition and paranoia, driving him to constantly prove himself and protect his position, ultimately making loyalty a one-way street, demanding unwavering devotion from those around him, while offering little in return. He was the sun of his own universe, the center of attention, demanding the spotlight and basking in the adoration of his fans. And he was burning those who got too close, scorching anyone who threatened his dominance or challenged his authority. Behind the velvet voice, the smooth crooner, the captivating performer, was a man who never forgot a grudge, a man who held on to resentment with an iron grip. Sinatra's legacy is as much about power, influence, and control as it is about music, artistry, and the timeless appeal of his unforgettable voice. Orson Welles, boy genius, cinematic revolutionary, and his own worst enemy. His vision was unmatched, but so was his ego. Welles treated studios with contempt, fought for control, and alienated collaborators with his domineering style. He exhausted actors with endless takes and discarded anyone who didn't meet his standards. His extravagance and defiance made him a pariah, leaving a trail of unfinished masterpieces. Welles's genius changed cinema, but his pride locked him out of the very system he sought to conquer. He became a tragic figure, brilliant, bitter, and exiled by his own ambition. Orson Welles flew high, but his fall was just as spectacular. Judy Garland, beloved on screen, tormented off it. Her talent was undeniable, but her life was shaped by addiction and exploitation from a young age. MGM fueled her with pills to keep her working, creating a cycle of dependency that haunted her career. Garland's lateness and unpredictability frustrated directors, but her struggles were symptoms of deep pain, not ego. She was fired from major roles and her behavior strained every production. Those close to her saw the agony behind the unprofessionalism, a desperate cry for help. Garland poured her soul into every performance, but there was no safety net when she fell. Her legacy is one of beauty born from suffering, a survivor in a system that broke her. Judy Garland wasn't a jerk. She was a tragic casualty of Hollywood's cruelty. Marlon Brando rebel, genius and Hollywood's ultimate wildcard. He revolutionized acting but made every set a battleground. Brando refused to memorize lines, relied on cue cards, and infuriated co-stars with his unpredictability. He clashed with directors, derailed productions, and treated films as his personal playground. On Mutiny on the Bounty and Apocalypse, now his antics nearly destroyed the movies. Brando's contempt for Hollywood fueled his sabotage. He saw acting as a joke and authority as an enemy. His brilliance was matched only by his self-destructive streak. Brando was a paradox, a master who despised his own craft. He left masterpieces and chaos in his wake. Katharine Hepburn, Hollywood royalty with no patience for fools. Fiercely independent and intellectually intimidating, she broke every rule and expected others to keep up. Hepburn's bluntness and aloofness made her formidable, not cruel, but her standards were sky-high. On set, she was demanding and direct, her disappointment more cutting than any outburst. She challenged directors and created exclusive bonds with co-stars like Spencer Tracy, often leaving others feeling like outsiders. Hepburn's difficulty was rooted in her uncompromising nature. She lived by her own code and expected the same from everyone. She didn't bend for Hollywood, she made it bend for her. Her legacy is one of brilliance and intimidation, a force who shaped the industry on her terms. Katharine Hepburn was a storm, cold, sharp, and unforgettable. Laurence Olivier, Shakespearean titan and theatrical tyrant. His talent was matched by his arrogance and cutting wit. Olivier had little patience for method actors, famously clashing with Marilyn Monroe on The Prince and the Showgirl. He belittled co-stars, dismissed rivals, and saw vulnerability as weakness. His perfectionism drove him to greatness but made him a demanding, unsympathetic collaborator. Olivier's focus was always on the final product, sacrificing relationships for excellence. He ruled his sets like a king, demanding fealty and punishing incompetence. His legacy is built on both artistry and the bruised egos of those left behind. Olivier was a legend, but not an easy one. Bing Crosby, America's dad on screen but a cold disciplinarian at home. His public image was all warmth and charm, but his son's memoir revealed a much darker reality. Crosby was described as emotionally remote, enforcing strict discipline with psychological cruelty and harsh punishments. On set, he was professional but distant, his affability a carefully maintained act. Colleagues found him aloof and frugal, his warmth reserved for the cameras. Crosby's brand of jerkiness was icy and silent, a wall of indifference that left others feeling isolated. The beloved crooner's greatest performance may have been the role of Bing Crosby himself. The truth behind the White Christmas was far colder than anyone imagined. His legacy is a reminder of the power and danger of public image. Sometimes the friendliest faces hide the darkest secrets. Ava Gardner, untamable, wild, and utterly authentic. Her beauty made her a star, but her rebellious spirit made her a nightmare for studios. Gardner lived hard, loved fiercely, and brought her volatility to every set. Her marriage to Sinatra was legendary for its passion and chaos. She was unpredictable. One day charming, the next impossible. Directors like John Ford met their match in her, earning respect only when they stood up to her fire. Gardner refused to be intimidated or controlled, living life unapologetically. She was difficult, unreliable, but always real. A rare thing in Hollywood. Ava Gardner was a storm that couldn't be bottled, and she didn't care who got caught in the rain. There you have it. 10 Hollywood legends whose off-screen behavior was as dramatic as their roles. Their talent was undeniable, but their flaws remind us that even icons are human. The glamour was a mask. Tonight we've seen the truth behind it. These stories add complexity, not just scandal, to their legacies. Which star shocked you most? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe for more untold stories from classic Hollywood. Until next time, keep watching the classics, and remember the complicated humans behind the legends.